Hello, welcome to Spotlight on Souris. Today is January 10th, 2020. My name is Laura Higgs, and today we have with us at our round table the Mayor of Souris and Glenwood, Daryl Jackson, and we have Mandy Landers, who is the chairperson for the beautification here in Souris. Welcome, folks.
Hi, good
Thank
morning.
you.
So let's start. Daryl, let's talk about the Crescent Avenue. It reopened this last fall. There's a few things, though, that need to be done, right? So when is that going to take place?
Well, thank goodness we did get the one lift of asphalt on last fall before the weather got too cold because we didn't want a gravel street all winter.
Right.
So that was done. Reluctantly, they felt that it was cool enough. There was going to be some cracking take place where they have to do handwork, not so much where the heavy rollers go across. And that cracking has occurred, but we're going to be able to patch it up before we put the final lift on in the spring. So I think it's all going to work out fine. Probably June, I'm just guessing, but whenever they can get out here. And then we will be painting parking lines, both on the north side and the south side, so people will get the idea of what actually angle parking, what's involved with it, and parallel to the south. So those things will be done. There's some other deficiencies we'll be talking to the contractor about, little things that have popped up, and we've made a list, so we'll be doing a walkthrough in the spring to identify those to them.
Great, great. And I don't think that the parking is changing. It has always been angle parking and parallel parking on the other side. Is that not correct?
Yes, there's 3 new parallel spots in front of what used to be the hairdressing shop. Because of that one jut out that's occurred there. We made 3 parallel spots there, but other than that, the north is all angle parking as it always has been.
Right.
And yes, we may have lost 1 or 2 parking spots, but we're making up for it by people using the town parking lots in behind that row of businesses.
Yes.
And they continue to use them. Surprisingly enough, they had to in the summertime, and now people are continuing to use those quite faithfully, so we're happy about that.
Well, actually, it's a great spot. First off, us able-bodied people, who are using it, which is great. We get a little bit of exercise then.
Yes.
Going to and it's close to everything. Those
Right.
parking lots are close to everything, so
they
it
are.
works out very well.
Yep.
Okay, the community hall renovations. Can you tell us where the progress is on that?
Yes, we got the north set of washrooms done with the help of a lot of folks, the Elks Lodge, Enbridge, sorority ladies, and some private donors helped us with the financial side of it. Comments have been very positive about those washrooms, and so now we're moving on to do the south set. The planning is taking place now. Hopefully we'll be done whenever they can fit it into a busy schedule in the hall this coming year. And then further down the road, we're looking at grants for the kitchen, and really the flooring in the whole hall needs to be done.
It sure does.
But, so there's going to be a phased-in process. It won't all happen in any particular year, but we're looking at quite a big redo of the hall in general.
Sure, sure. And it's got to work around all the events that are happening.
That's right. You got to be a little careful, especially you can kind of move weddings and socials around, but you have those regular things like the hobby craft sale. It's coming every year. They're counting on it. It works into a schedule with other sales, so we have to be mindful of that.
Exactly. So what are the municipality's plans as far as public works projects in 2020?
Yes, I've got some cheat notes here because there's lots of things going on.
Okay.
Out in the rural ward, and this is on Road 46 North, so for anyone who isn't familiar with the numbers out there, it's the northeast corner of the municipality out by Newdale Colony and the Denning Farms and so on. There's a big culvert out there that's failing and is going to have to be replaced, so that's a big job. That will be done in the summer. We're still working on design for a bridge over Plum Creek out on what we call the 6 Mile Road west of town, Road 129. And something has to be done there as well. So we're working on designing there. The freezing rain in the fall was a disaster on the gravel roads. And people have certainly voiced their opinion on what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. The boys went out and did a pretty good job on the intersections, I think, so you could come up to a stop sign or
With
another
control.
road and we're sure you were gonna stop. It's pretty hard to scrape all that icy snow off the whole length of all the roads, because you take the gravel
layer,
with
yes.
it. And then it would be expensive to re-gravel next year, so people just have to slow down. And I've told them that, and some don't like being told that, but I think, road conditions should be what determines how fast you drive.
Absolutely.
So,
And it's different every winter, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. In town, we've got lots of plans. As we mentioned earlier, Crescent will get the second coat of asphalt. Second Avenue from First Street over to Second, so that's from Kent Kowalczuk's house over to Ferg Devon's, will be paved. It was too wet there this year. They could not pack it in tight, so hopefully that will change and it'll be paved and sidewalk and curb put in there. Fourth Avenue East from bumper to bumper over to, what would be the street? Glenwood Street, maybe. We have to put a new water main in there. We figure it's one of these old water mains. So it may not get repaved in the summer, depending on when we can get everything in place to get that done. Elm Avenue is another one. Water line needs replacing. That's up by the school. There's a block there that's in trouble. So we have to replace that, and somewhere down the road, probably 2021, that one block would be repaved as well. The town parking lots, we did 1/3 of the parking lot last year. We're going to do the westerly one this year. And because the central one is the best of the three, so it's left till last. So we've made a 3-year program out of it. So
And
the
one on the
westerly,
west is where they had to do some renovations last year.
well,
The big hole at the end.
that's where the old town hall used to be, and there was a cistern there.
Oh, was there?
And it was never filled in properly, so every year it continues to settle.
Cave, okay.
Yeah, as it gets pounded down. So they dug that all out and filled it with whatever they
Sure,
use for
properly.
fill. Yeah. And so that was the reason. There's always a low spot there. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Who
interesting.
knew, eh? Yeah, an old wooden cistern apparently.
Wow,
So as it was disintegrating, it just kept sinking.
sure. Well, it's fixed now, done.
Yes,
And
good.
it'll be paved over, good.
And we will be doing some sidewalks. The only one I can really tell you for sure is on number 1 highway from Preston to 6th Street North. There's a chunk there that needs to be redone. And we'll be doing others too, but they'll just get identified as we go on.
Right. Boy, those some big projects, Daryl.
Yeah, another one that you won't see much happening on top of the ground, but Soudan Street, so that's a street that runs off number 2 highway right up to the swinging bridge and Hillcrest Museum.
Right?
We've applied to one of these big provincial government grants for it as well, because it's water main, sewer main, both need to be cambered to see if one or the other need to be replaced. The pavement needs to be done, needs to be re-sidewalked and so on. So that's probably a 3-year project.
Right.
If we get the funding for it. So that, that's more longer term. And people might see some survey work done on that this year. We'll just see how it goes.
Had that project been done on another street in that neighborhood?
Yes,
year or
the
two
next
ago?
one over.
Right.
Yes, it was done.
Glenwood?
Glenwood, I believe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they
same
were-
idea, yeah. We just try, there's lots of streets in town that need work. And you don't want to pave over a street and then have to rip it up the next year to replace a water
Right,
or
what a
sewer main.
waste of money.
Yes, so we're using these camera techniques now to find out where the worst lines are. That's kind of determining what streets get looked at
Okay,
first.
I was wondering how you
Yeah.
figure out the lines, how bad they are. So you
Yes.
send a camera down.
Yeah, there's a camera, and there's a process for the sewer lines now where they can send a slurry, for lack of a better term, and if they're not too badly shaped, it'll line them so we can get a bunch more, maybe 20 years more out of them.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Doesn't work so well with the water lines apparently, so whenever they're in trouble. And some of them are old clay, clay or even cast iron pipes, so some of them are 100 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
And need to be replaced.
They
for
do,
sure.
absolutely.
For
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that information. Mandy, let's have a little talk about our beautification. When can we expect to see the planters back on the Crescent?
Yeah, it's just a little bit off of what Daryl was talking about. The Public Works crew, Zenith Paving, all the other contractors did an amazing job this year, I think, getting it set up for us. Beautification we do want our planters back on the Crescent this year. So we're gonna have the planters on the north side, and we're gonna have only hanging baskets on the south side. We as a group, we feel we don't want a bunch of stuff up there. I mean,
Don't want to clutter it up.
we don't want to clutter
Visually.
it up visually. The Crescent is so beautiful that we just want people to be able to enjoy the beauty of the park and the street itself. I mean, it's always nice for us to have some flowers there to add a little bit of color, but our board doesn't want to have a bunch of extra clutter up there, so.
Sure, want to make it aesthetically pleasing. Okay, where did the idea come from for the wreaths that are hanging up there on the
It was
standards?
actually a Facebook post. Someone had tagged me in a post on Facebook. It was called Classic Country Christmas, and I mean, we do live in a older community, so we kind of wanted to keep that classic Christmassy feel to things. It originally had planters with pine trees in it, but with, snow removal and just not wanting to have a lot up there. We do the petunia tree. We turn it into a poinsettia tree every year, and we've gotten a lot of compliments on that. So we thought maybe just adding the wreaths down the Crescent would be good. We didn't have a lot of time to come up with that decision. It was kind of a very rushed situation, so there was a few of us got together. We got a hold of Brent at the town office. He got those wreaths ordered for us. Nikki Morrow over at Plaza Petals whipped up all of the bows for us and placed them on the wreaths while they were still in cold storage.
Oh, wow.
So that Lee and Conrad, I saw them out there the one day that they just made that happen for us. I think it just really added a little bit of Christmas to our town for the year. So
It's great how everybody came together and made that project happen. isn't
Yeah.
it?
yeah, it,
Very, very nice.
many hands make light work. That's
Yeah,
for sure. That's for
absolutely.
sure. Yeah.
And in a short time.
Yeah.
Do you have a theme for this year for colors?
We do. Our theme this year is Manitoba's 150th birthday. So a couple years ago was Canada's 150th birthday. We did all red and white. This year we decided to go back to the red and white, but we did add splashes of different color. Manitoba is a melting pot of people, so having the red and white in there for the colors of the flag were great, but we're adding some purples and pinks and yellows and just step it up a little bit in each planter, but the majority of the flowers will be red and white flowers, yes.
To honor our country
Yeah.
as a province, yeah. Oh. Okay, so what are any plans for fundraising?
We are actually going to be doing a meat draw at the Legion. It's going to be on Saturday, February 1st at 6 p.m. We will have a supper served of chili and a bun for donation. We also have one of our board members, Dana Stam, who's also a local photographer. She has graciously donated a print of the swinging bridge that she has done to make that for a extra draw for us to have there a little bit, extra. This year we're fundraising more for our baskets and planters. We would like to change a few things, but it's quite expensive for the new planters. Last time we ordered new baskets, it was over $4,000 for the self-watering baskets, and the coffin-style cement planters that we order through the local businesses in town here are between $500 and $600. So we're trying to steer away from the wooden because they need so much maintenance, and just stick with the concrete and metal of things. Yeah.
Right. They don't deteriorate quite the same way as the wood.
No, and they are a little bit easier to be moved around, even though we need a big machine to do it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, they don't, the bottom doesn't come out of them,
Yeah.
so it's a little easier.
Handy point, yeah.
Yeah,
Handy.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, we have a great community that we live in, and
Yeah. Beautification, they just want to take the time to thank everybody who walks down the street and picks up garbage when you're out. All of our volunteers, our community comes out full force every time we ask them. We have probably over 30 people who do just planting in the community. We have our town guys or our maintenance guys. Every time we ask them to do something, they are right there for us every step of the way. The town is a huge contributor to us as well. If it wasn't for the town, our volunteers, we wouldn't have half of the planters, flowers, just the things going on. It's so great for us. Yeah.
Yes, we do have a great community. Everybody comes in and helps out, for sure.
Yes,
And
yes.
a great little tourism town.
It
People
is.
come to see us just
Yep.
for all the great things that are here.
Yeah.
And thank you
Yeah.
to both of you for helping to keep it beautiful.
Yes,
We really
great.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here on Spotlight on Souris.
Thank you for having us.
We also have with us today Echo Finley, who is our Economic Development Officer right here in Souris. Welcome, Echo.
Thanks.
We basically have one big project to talk to you about, Manitoba's 150th. What is going to happen? What are the events that Souris is going to have this year?
Well, we've applied for funding, and we won't hear until February if we've received the funding.
Right.
Many communities have applied for the same funding.
Right, and they're all making plans, and they're all just in the balance, waiting to hear if they are going to get the funding,
Yeah,
right?
so it's
Okay.
a little bit of a juggling act. We're
Okay.
trying to make sure that we've got the right quotes, we've got sort of tentative commitments, but if we get the funding, we're going to have a celebration in Victoria Park. We're going to try and bring that festival atmosphere back to the park. And so we're looking at daytime activities with, the bouncy castles and the
Face painting and all
face
that stuff?
painting,
Good.
human foosball.
Yeah, okay. A lot of fun.
Yeah, also Kathleen Legacy she's offered to organize, it's like a tour of artists around town. So you would go to their home and see their work, and so we would have that available. And then it would slip into, we'd have some live music during the day. But once the evening hits, then we're looking at more of an adult atmosphere with kind of beer gardens and the band, and we would like to light up some lanterns and put them in the creek, so we've looked at all that. We've also looked, instead of fireworks, because we would be aiming for August for this celebration, and sometimes there's a fire ban on, so we've looked at closed quarter pyrotechnics. I don't think it's closed quarter, but it's something smaller where they would use maybe for a stage. And so we have a company that can do that.
Wow.
So if we get the funding, it
Yeah.
should be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what day is this planned for?
Oh, man. Now you're putting me on the spot. I don't have it written down.
That's okay.
I want to say it was August 15th, but that
Okay.
doesn't, it's right in the middle.
So in the middle of the summer, so people have time to check that out, because it really does all hinge on whether or not we get the funding. And if Souris gets funding for this event, then you'll make sure to put a venue out there and posters up, and
Oh,
people will
absolutely.
have plenty of notice.
Well, and part of it too, like we've got our annual Souris Visitor and Relocation Guide. And so what we want to do, if we get the funding, we're going to feature that in there. It's going to be all in print. We also want to do up a calendar that includes any activities that groups have for the entire year.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I've been contacting groups to try and find out. Many don't have their dates planned, but we're encouraging them to get them. We would go to print mid-February. Once we hear about the funding,
Okay.
it should just be like polish up for 2 days and send it off to print.
Great, great. That's a marvelous idea.
Yeah, we're pretty excited, and I mean, it would help everybody to have that year at a glance of what's going on.
Because it's such a big year. I mean,
It is, and I mean, Souris is really a happening place.
it always is. I mean, tourists love it. They
Yeah.
come here for that.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, after moving here, I had heard somebody say like, oh, there's never anything going on.
Oh, my goodness.
There's always something going on. It's great. Yeah.
For sure.
So that's what we're looking at right now.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing that with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching Spotlight on Souris. I'd like to thank Gail Neufeld and Chris Coulter for their camera work today. Our producer is Sheila Kirkup. I'd like to thank her. My name is Laura Higgs. Thank you so much and have a great day.